Around 4 that morning, Noah Hearst decided he'd tossed and turned long enough. He ate a final breakfast at the rental apartment's kitchen sink, staring at his reflection in the darkened window. Took his last bag down to the Ford double cab, stood there in the quiet and the dark for a long moment, wondering if he would ever make it back to Los Angeles. And if so, why? Then he headed north. Clearing out his former office had gone more smoothly than he'd expected. 8.5 years of sweat and tears and very hard days had been reduced to one truckload of boxes and records and plans and models. He should probably have thrown it all away, but just then found it hard enough to watch the movers shift his life into 2 self-storage units and then lock the metal doors. Clearing out what was now his ex-wife's home had been far easier. 3.5 years of temporary separations and endless counseling sessions meant he had already shifted most things into a series of rentals. That final day, his wife safely removed from the scene, Noah had only half a pickup's worth of items still to pack. When he was done, Noah gave his former home the sort of look that could only come from an emotional distance. The pale marble floors, the carefully chosen furniture, the drapes over the rear windows that had cost him almost $20,000. It had always been Elaine's place, somewhere Noah visited between gigs. That previous afternoon, Noah had found himself taking a slow tour of the artwork, pausing long enough to recall the nasty arguments they'd had over some of the items. The prices, sure. They had been good for some yells. But really, it had mostly come down to the art itself. Noah had thought them aimless and angry. Now he suspected Elaine's intention was to cover their walls with colorful indictments that he would never give her what she needed from their relationship. 9 years in Los Angeles, and Noah had never been farther north than Santa Barbara. When he needed a break and had the time, he had done what Elaine wanted. The islands were top of her wish list, Kauai in particular. Noah had disliked feeling so cut off from his work and all the problems he worried over leaving behind. Elaine, in turn, had despised how he couldn't just release and let go. Such arguments always came down to him reminding his wife that these worries were how he paid for the 5-star hotel, and her response had been to... With a start, Noah realized he had driven all the way to Long Beach, accompanied by the circular tirade that had dominated his home life for far too long, which was good for a bitter smile. Driving north, the remnants of his previous existence packed in boxes that filled his pickup.